Okay, good morning to one and all. Uh, Today we are discussing about the elements of object model. Most programmers working on one language and use only one programming style. So there are five main kinds of programming styles. That is, first one procedure oriented programming. Second one is object oriented programming. Third one is logical oriented programming, and fourth one rule oriented programming, and fifth one constraint oriented programming. Okay, in different programming languages we are using different types of abstractions. Suppose in procedure oriented programming language we are using algorithms. That is, the algorithms as a abstractions, like a C language. In C language, we are using algorithms. Next one, object-oriented programming language. In object-oriented programming language, we are using classes and object as a abstractions. So in C++, Java, we are using classes and objects as a abstractions. Next one, logical oriented. In logical oriented, they expressed in pre- predicate calculus. Okay, and fourth one, rule oriented programming language. In you are using if then rules. Next, constraints oriented programming language, we are using invariant relationships. Mainly we are studying procedure oriented programming language and an object oriented programming language. So there are five types of programming styles: the okay, procedure oriented, object oriented, logical oriented, rule oriented, and constraint oriented. So first one, we are using the key object oriented systems concepts. Okay. First one, object and classes. Second one, encapsulation. Third one, methods and variables. And fourth one, inheritance. And fifth one, message passing and polymorphism. Okay. The main elements of object oriented programming or object model is first one, object and classes. Already we are studying in Java language. Is second two. We are studying object. What is meant by object? What is meant by class? What is meant by encapsulation and method, variables, inheritance, and message passing and polymorphism. So first we are discussing about objects oriented programming. So object oriented programming is a way to organize and conceptualize a program as a set of interaction objects. So in object oriented programming is the interaction between, it is the interaction between objects. So any objects, that is the interaction means the message passing or the communication between objects. The programmer defines the type of objects that existing. Next, the programmer creates object instance as they are needed. Suppose if we are needed any objects, we are creating object instance. Next, the programmer specifies how these variant objects will be communicate and interact with each other. Okay, how to communicate and how to interact with each other. So programmer specify if there any communication needed from one object to another object, the programmer will be specified the communication between the two objects and how they interact. First, which object is send the message, and for message, the object can how to react another object is specified by the programmer. So it is object oriented programming. In object oriented programming, specifies how the interact, that is how the objects is created, how the objects is defined, and how to object is communicated from one object to another objects. So object means suppose in real life any object, suppose the person, suppose in library management system, how object, how librarian and student, that is how to communicate librarian students. Suppose So suppose you are entering into library, first the students send the message. Students send the message to librarian. Suppose first students request to the librarian, the book is present in the library or for return any book. First the students give the request to the librarian. After receiving the message, the librarian give the reply to the particular message. Suppose particular book is existing in the library or not. This is the communication between the two objects in the library management system. Suppose in bank, suppose the communication between the bank and customer, the customer send the request to the bank or send the message and reply the bank. Different communication, different type of communications is existing. Suppose in the ATM system also, the debit card is one object and the ATM system is another card, another system, and we are performing some communication between the two systems. So these are implemented by in object oriented program. The first one, what is meant by an object? So in real world, object is an entity or object is an a person. Okay, actually, object means any real world object. Real world object means suppose the person. The person is one object or anything. It is anything is one object. Suppose bank account. Bank account is one object or ATM. ATM is one object. It has some attributes and it has some behaviors. Suppose librarian. Librarian has some real world objects and it has some attributes. That is, the attributes means properties and behavior. Behavior means it performs some action. Behavior means it performs some action. That is, living thing or non-living thing. Suppose living thing or non-living thing, it performing some action. Action means performing some operations, that is the operations. For example, dog. A dog has some attributes, that is dog has some color and hungry and tired. That is it has some attributes and it has some behavior. Behavior means it performing some operations, that is eating, sleeping, etc. This dog is a living thing or person. The person has a living thing. The person has some attributes. Is the every person has some attributes, that is name, father name, and next one date of birth. So he performing some operations. Suppose he enter into the library, he performing some operations, that is issue the book or return the book. That is the for issuing the book or return book, he performing some operations. That is his behavior. Suppose in banking system and is in banking system, suppose the person means account holder. It is the account holder has its number and owner. It is the owner means account customer name and balance. And he performing some operations. That is he performing some operations means withdrawing and deposit. That is same bank account has some operations, that is some attributes and behavior. So real object means real world real world object has any attributes and behavior. So software objects, that is the software objects is like real world objects, it has some attributes and behavior. Next one, in traditional languages, in Proton, COBOL, C language, data structures and processes are defined separately. Suppose in object oriented languages, they are defined together. The object is the collection of attributes and behavior that operate on them. Is suppose in traditional language, that is the procedure oriented language, they are supposed to define any objects you are using data structures and procedures. But in object oriented language, the procedures and data structures is defined together by object is the collection of attributes and behavior that operate on them. And variables in the objects is called attributes and procedures associated with objects that are called methods. Suppose the object is defined by attributes and methods. That is, methods means function. In some languages, methods means we are calling functions. In some languages, we are called procedures. So object, that is, the every object has some attributes. The attributes is defined by using variables, and every object has some behavior. The behavior is represented by methods. For example, account. Account is one object. The account has some number, that is a variable, that is attributes, that is number, balance. Suppose the account has performing some operations, suppose withdraw and depositing. It is they are represented by methods. So in software objects, that is in software objects, every attributes is represented by variables. Attributes represented by variables by using integer or floating point based on the attribute. It is based on the attribute. Suppose the attribute has any floating point numbers, it represented floating points. Fraction values, it represented by floating floating variable. Suppose it has any number, it is represented by integer. And same behavior, that is the behavior represented by methods, that is the functions, that is the functions of the particular object, that is the function or behavior represented by methods. The methods is deposit and withdraw. Next one. So what is meant by class? The definition of attributes and methods of an object is organized into class. And class is a generic definition for a set of similar objects. Suppose the person has a generic definition. Suppose the person has name and father name and date of birth. So the class means the collection of attributes and methods for defining any object. For defining collection of object means similar objects. Suppose the person is one similar object. To define the similar objects, we are using class. That is, already in Java language, we are studying what is meant by class. The class means the collection of attributes and methods. So the class is a generic definition for set of objects. Suppose one class, that is person. Different persons have different attributes and operations. So the person represented by class, the class has some attributes and operations. Suppose every person has some properties, and his properties is name, father name, and next one is date of birth. And if performing some operations, suppose based on the system, if performing some operations, suppose in banking system we are using performing withdrawing and deposit operations, but in library you have the person performing based on the person. My librarian performing some operations, I am same student performing some operations. So the class can be thought of a template used to create set of objects. So already we are studying in Java language what is meant by class and how to create an objects. But for class can be a thought of as a template used to create set of objects. Next, the class is static definition, a piece of code written in programming languages, is in C++ or Java. Next, the objects are created by instance of class. So already we are studying about objects. So how to create an object? The instance of class is called an object. So any object is created an instance of class. So class is generic definition for set of similar objects who are having attributes and operations, that is called variables and methods, so on. So object is an instance of class. So each instance will have its own distinct set of attributes. Suppose if you are creating one object by using class, it has different set of attributes. Suppose person is one class. We are creating objects, it has different set of objects. So one person has different person has name different from another person. Next, every instant of same class will have same set of attributes. So every object has same attribute, but each instance will have its own distinct values for those attributes. So every object has different types of attributes. Suppose cell phone. Cell phone is one object. It has different attributes. So one cell phone has Samsung company. One cell phone has Nokia, and it has different attributes. It is different properties and different behavior. But it is cell phone. Cell phone is one class, and it has attributes, and each cell phone has different attributes. For example, here account, that is the account is one class. Account class, it has attributes and behavior of bank accounts, and the account class defined two static values. That is, the first one is account number and balance, and two methods, it is deposit and withdraw. Suppose account is class, is the account is class, and it has variables. That is, the variables and methods is here. First we are defining static variables, that is account number and balance, and two methods it performing some operations. That is methods deposit and withdraw. This deposit and withdraw represents behavior, and the account number and balance represents attributes. That is, what are the attributes or properties of the particular object or class. So for example, when a programmer runs, there will be an instance of account class. Each instance will have its own account and balance. Suppose we are creating any objects. First, we are using creating creating any instance of objects. Each object has its own properties. Suppose first instance, that is the first object is having its account number and balance. Second instance, that is second object. Suppose you are a programmer creating second object. The object has its own proper attributes and behavior. So second instance, the second object has number 712 and balance $224. Next, the third object, that is it has 36 number and the balance is 941. So each object, that is the each object means the first object has its own properties, and second object has own properties, and third object has its own properties. The three objects is created by using instant of class. That is, the class is on class by using account is one class. By creating instance of class, each object has its own properties. First instance has its own properties, second instance has its own properties, and third instance has its own properties. One attributes, that is attributes is different from another attributes. That is, the first object has different attributes and different from second objects, and second object has different attributes third objects. So methods can be invoked, that is based on the requirements. The first object means instant one. Instance one is performing some operations, some based on the requirements. Second object is performing some operations. Third operation is performing some operations. So totally, first one, first one object, second one is class. The class means a set of attributes and operations, that is set of attributes and methods. So to create any object, that is in programming we are creating an object. First we are creating class, and creating instance of class is an object. So simple. First one object is any person or thing defined by using generic form by using class. The class means it represents its attributes of a class, attributes of an objects and behavior of objects. So instance of any class is called an object. Already we are studying Java language, what is meant by class, what is meant by objects, and how to create an object. Already we are studying two semester in Java language. Next one, encapsulation. What is meant by encapsulation? It is when a class is defined, the programmer specified that certain methods and static variables remains hidden inside the class. So if suppose we are defining any class by using some variables and methods, the methods and variables cannot be accessed by the outside the, it is the variable cannot be accessed by the outside the class. So suppose you are defining any variables or methods that are not accessed by the outside the class. It is called encapsulation. So these variables and methods are accessible from within the class, but not outside the class. Suppose you are representing hidden state variables and methods. This hidden variables methods is cannot accessed by another method. Suppose the combination of collecting all the attributes of an object into single class definition and combined with the ability to hidden some definitions and the type of information within the class is known as encapsulation. So the combination of attributes, not only methods, attributes, the combination of collecting all the attributes and objects into single class. This all the attributes is represented by a single class definition combined with the ability to hidden some definitions and type of information within the class is known as encapsulation. So already you are studying in Java language what is meant by encapsulation. Encapsulation means it cannot be accessible. Suppose if any variable is defined within the class, it is cannot be accessed by the another class. So in graphical model of an object, suppose to define an account number, it is balance and account number is a static variables, is instance variables and methods. That is the methods means balance, withdraw, deposit and account number. These are the methods can be hidden within the class. So it cannot be accessed by the outside the class. So instant methods and instance variable. The methods and variables described in in this module so far are known as instance methods and instance variable. So first one, instance methods, instance variable. The instance variables represents the attributes or properties of any object, and instant methods represent its behavior, the behavior of any object. The first one is instance variables. These state variables are associated with one instance of a class. The value of state variables may be vary from one instance to another instance. Suppose the attributes, same variables means the variables represent the attributes of any objects. The attributes of any object is vary from one object to another object. Already we are discussing in previous account number. The account number is vary from one account number to another account number. The balance is vary from one account to another account. Same the variables, that is the variables represent attributes. The attributes vary from one object to another objects. Next, the instance variables and instance method can be public or private. So the methods, that is the methods can be variable. Suppose if any behavior is represented, these methods can be accessible within the class or outside the class. So it is represented by it is public or private. Suppose the variables is represented by public or private. Suppose the variables is public, the variables can be accessed outside the class. That is, the another class can be accessed. Suppose private means it can be accessed only within the class. So already we are studying in Java language what is meant by public or private and protected. That is the public variables and private variables and protected. So you are using another one protect, but we are not discussed here. So we are having another type of variable, that is protected variables. Next, class methods and class variables. Suppose in addition to instance of methods and instance of variable, classes also define a class methods and class variables. These are the attributes and behaviors associated with a class as a whole, not any instance. And class variable class methods can be also public or private. So the variables is defined. Okay? Already you know class means the collection of variables and methods. The methods and variables defined within the class is public or private. Suppose if the variable is defined private, the variables can be accessed only within the class. That is means the variables accessed only within the class methods are methods. But private means the variables can be accessed outside the class, that is accessible the another class, that is the another class if we are defined variables as a public. Next one, class variable is defined and attributes of an entire class in constraint in construct, and instance variables defines attributes of a single instance of a class. So already we are discussing what is meant by variable. Variable defines an attributes of entire class, and instance variables define attributes of a single instant of class, that is object. Suppose here we are using account is one class, and class variables is count and print, that is the count and print, that is count is variable, and next one is method is print count. The instance variables is first one number balance, one instance, that is one object, second object, and third object. Okay, next one, what is meant by inheritance? Already we are studying in Java language. What is meant by inheritance? Inheritance means the advantage of making new class. A subclass is that will be inherit the attributes and methods of its parent class. It's also known as superclass. That is, the subclass can inherit the attributes and methods of its parent class. Okay. The subclass extend the existing classes in three ways. The first one by defining new attributes and methods. Next, by overriding existing attributes and methods. And third one is by hiding existing attributes and methods. This the subclass can extend it. That is, the extended means can it use the properties of parent class by using three ways: by defining new attributes and methods, is additional attributes and methods; by overriding, it is by change the behavior of existing attributes and methods; by hiding existing attributes and methods. So inheritance means, suppose if any subclass has inherits the attributes and methods of its parent class. That is, the parent class means superclass. Next, subclass. When a new class is developed, program can define its be a subclass of existing class. The subclass are used to define special case, extension, or other variants from the original defined class. Example: saving account and checking account can be derived from the account class. Is here suppose account is superclass, and in account there are two types of accounts: saving accounts and checking accounts. These two accounts, that is saving accounts and checking accounts, can be hide the properties of accounts. That is, hide means it uses the properties and attributes of account. So for programming development, account represented by parent class, and saving account is one subclass, and checking account is one subclass. Suppose in Java language, suppose you are defining saving account and checking account, two subclasses of account class. Suppose account class, in account class, every account method, method account number, and next one is method balance, method deposit, and method withdraw. That is the account class. That is, the account class has some methods. That is, the methods means operations. Suppose class, that is class saving account, one class, that is subclass. It extends the account. That is, extend the account means the saving account use the operations and properties of account. That is superclass. That is accounts. Next, checking account. That is checking account extend the account. Checking accounts use the properties and operations of accounts. So suppose you are using method withdraw, here you are using method rate. So you cannot define method again. Already the account, extended account has method withdraw. You cannot write the separate code for withdraw. So here account, saving account, withdraw account. Suppose this account has operations deposit and withdraw operations. Saving account has the same behavior, deposit and withdraw. Checking account has the same behavior, it is deposit and withdraw. So already the super class, it is the super class has code for a deposit and withdraw. So no new code has been written for a deposit and other methods they have inherited from superclass. That is, these two operations, that is deposit operations and withdraw operations, is used from superclass, that is called parents class. No need to write the separate code for deposit and withdraw for checking account and saving accounts. That is, the checking account and saving account is subclasses. These two subclasses uses, that is uses the methods of superclass, that is deposit and withdraw. It's called inheritance. That is, inheritance means just the relation between parent class and superclass. As it is, so children class, or the relation between superclass and subclass is defined in inheritance concepts. So this is the another element of inheritance. Next one, message passing. That is, the message passing means message passing is an information or request that the object send to another object. The message, suppose in sometimes objects send the information themselves, that is self message. That is self message, or suppose the message transfer, that is the messages are message are the informations and request. The object can send the message from one object to another object. In some situations the objects send the message themselves, that is called self messages. The message concepts includes, the first one is name of the object to receive the message and name of the method to be performed, any parameters needed for this method. So the message can be represented, that is the message can be represented. Suppose here manager one object and employee one object. Suppose the manager send the information to the employee by using some message this employee, who is the employee, name of the employee and get height and parameters, that is salary, and next one is starting date. So the manager send the information to employee by using some information. It is the name of the object. This name of the object means employee name, and method here method is get hide. Next one is parameters. That is the parameters means salary and starting date. So to implement the any system, we can transfer the message from one object to another object. Suppose in college, student can student can be receive the message from teachers. The teacher can receive the message from principal. The principal receive the message from university. Suppose university is one object and principal is one object, uh, and teacher or faculty is one object and student is one object. The objects can be receive the message, that is receive the message from different objects. Suppose university send the message to the principal receive the some message and send the reply to the university. Suppose to faculty send the message to the student receive the message, student receive the message. After receiving the message, students can reply to faculty by reply message. So there are two types of messages here. One is sending message and second one is after receiving the message, the object can be reply. Suppose if any reply is required, reply request and send the reply. So message, suppose in ATM, first you are inserting the card. After entering the PIN number, the ATM give the reply to the customer if PIN number is correct or not. So after receiving the information, again the customer gave the reply, enter type of account. After enter the type of account and enter the balance, I mean enter the withdraw amount. And next one, after withdrawing again the system give the reply, it is give the cash to the customer. So message means the information is transferred between the two objects in any system, that is in library management system or in a banking system, in college system. The message transfer between the two objects, that is the message means it is communication, the communication between the two objects. The communication between the two objects is called message. Suppose to run any system, the message can be transferred between the two systems. Based on the components, you can send the message and receive the message from particular objects. Next, the benefits of the messages. The message passing supports all possible interaction between the two objects. The message passing is a mechanism that is used to invoke the method of objects. Suppose after receiving the message, it performing some action that is called method of objects. Suppose you are sending the message to another object. After receiving the method, after receiving the message, the object performing some action that is by executing method particular method. So message passing also used to invoke the method of objects. Next, the objects do not need to be a part of some process or on the same mission or to interact with another or another. Next, the message passing is a runtime behavior. Runtime behavior, thus it is not same as a procedure calling in other languages. Suppose in C language we are using message passing, okay, message passing. But in Java language we are using in C language we are using pass by value and pass by variable, but in Java language we are using message passing. It represents runtime behavior. Next, the address of method is determined dynamically at the runtime as two type of objects may not be know the compiler. So the main benefits is it performing some actions, performing to performing any action. Sometimes the objects can be receive the message to another objects. Suppose in library management system, suppose the librarian to issue the any book, the librarian receive the request from student. So the librarian performing some operation, it must be receive the request from another objects, that is students or faculty. So in object oriented model, suppose if any object performing some action, if any object is performing some action, it must be receive the message. It must be receive the message from another object. After receiving the message, it performing some action. Next, and send the reply to particular object or another object. Suppose sometimes the object is receiving the message from one object and it send the reply to another object, not be received to the same object. Sometimes it send the reply to the another object based on the system, the different types of messages transfer from another object to another object. Next, polymorphism. That is, the polymorphism is one of the essential feature of object-oriented language. This mechanism is decoupling the behavior from the messages. The same message sent to the different types of objects result in the executing the behavior that's specified to the objects and possibly different behavior that can be another object to receive the same message. Suppose the message draws sent to the object of type square, it performing square message. Suppose the same message sent to the object type circle will resulting different behavior object. That is, the object is square is different properties, circle is different property. That is, square means it has length and height, circle it has only radius. Suppose after receiving the message, draw message, it performing some action, it is it will draw the square. After receiving the message, it draw the circle. So by receiving the same message, that is by receiving the same message by different objects, the different objects performing different operations. For example, shape is one message or one class, it has different shapes, that is square, circle, rectangle, triangle. It is different operations. That is polymorphism. It is the polymorphism is after receiving the message, it performing different actions. Next, the languages. There are many forms of polymorphisms in object-oriented language. That is true polymorphism and parametric polymorphism, overload polymorphism, and override polymorphism. Already we are studying Java language. What is meant by polymorphism, parametric polymorphism, override polymorphism, and object oriented, sorry, override Polymorphism. Okay, first one, true polymorphism. It is the true polymorphism means it's represented by method is the same method signatures defined for different classes with a different behavior. Suppose a draw. Draw is one method. It gives the different behavior for classes of circle and squares. Next, parametric polymorphism. This is used the same method with the within the class but with the different signatures. It is different parameters. That is, the parameters means variables. Next, overloading. That is, this is usually referred to the operators. That is, addition, subtraction, multiplications. They when they can be applied in several types such as integer, floating points, and strings. That is overloading. Is overloading of operations. That is overriding. That is the overriding means this refers to the features of subclasses that are replace the behavior of the parent class with the new and modified behavior. Is the polymorphism can be implemented in methods are classes and subclasses and parameters and operators. That is, there are the Java lang already we are studying what is meant by overloading and overriding, what is meant by polymorphism. The next one is inheritance and classes. So the basic elements, that is the basic elements of the object-oriented programming is the first one is object. So already you are know about objects. Next one class. Already it is a generic template used to create a class. Next, what is meant by encapsulation? That is, the encapsulation means the combination of collecting the attributes and objects into single definition, the combined with the ability to hide the some definition within the class. Hiding means it cannot be accessed outside the class. Suppose if any attributes or method is defined within the class, you cannot access it by another class. That is called encapsulation. By definition some parameters, that is public, private, protect, you can access other sites, but encapsulation means you can you cannot hide the attributes and operations within the class. Next one, a class. The class can has some class variables and class methods, which are the attributes and methods associated with the class as a whole. Next, inheritance. Inheritance allows classes to inherit the attributes and methods from base class, that is parents class. This provide a clean mechanism for code reuse and extensions. So the basic elements, that is the basic elements of object oriented programming is first one object, second one class, next third one in encapsulation, and fourth one class variables, and next one is class methods, and next one inheritance in inheritance, and next one is polymorphism. These are the main concepts of object oriented programming, or the main elements, that is the main elements used in object oriented programming. So based on the elements, that is the elements of the object oriented programming, you are creating different types of relationships. That is based on the elements used, that is the elements used in object oriented programming, we are defining different types of relationships, that is different types of relationships in UML language, that is unified modeling language, based on the elements. That is the elements means the encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism, and message passing. Based on these all the concepts, that is based on all the concepts, we are using different types of relationships, that is different types of relationships between the classes or objects. That is first one is dependency, generalization, association, and aggregation. That is there are different types of relationships is defined in UML language. Same in UML language, we are using object or class. That is, we are using object and class, and another objects also used. That is a use case. It is not a object. We are using another mechanisms. That is the another mechanisms how to message transfer from one object to another object. First, we are defined the relationships. First, we define the relationships. We can transfer the message from one object to another object. So the elements of object oriented programming. Okay, so next class we are discussing about what is meant a object and what are the relationships within the objects, that is relationship between the objects. Next we are discussing class and what are the relationships within the classes. Okay, thank you, one another.